Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Em and happy Halloween Eve, everybody. I am so excited for this vlog. I have been looking forward to it for months. This is going to be a cozy horror reading vlog to help you celebrate the day of all days. The arguably one of the best days of the year. I am a big Halloween fan. I am a newly recruited horror fan, and I'm just so excited to read as much horror as possible in this video. All right, I have quite the stack of short horror books that I want to read. I really want to read Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. This is a novella that just came out in September, and I'm really excited about it. I haven't read any M.L. Rio yet, and I just have such high hopes for this little novella. I also really want to read Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. This is her most recent horror novella. I read Bloom earlier this year and it was 5 stars. It's one of those books that has just stayed with me throughout the year. I think about it a lot because it left a very big impression on me. I've heard this is quite different, but I am also very, very excited to read this. I would also love to read Haunt Sweet Home by Sarah Pinsker. I read one of Sarah Pinsker's short stories and it was very creepy. This is a haunted house story, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't really heard too much about it, so I'm not sure how it will work for me, but I'm excited to read it. I would also really like to read The Night Guest in this video. This is also a recent horror novella that came out about, I think the only thing I know about this one is it's about a woman who wears like an Apple Watch when she sleeps at night, and her watch is saying that she is walking 40,000 steps while she's asleep, but she has zero memory of it. So that sounds, I've heard that one is super creepy. So that will probably be a daytime read for me because I am a wimp. I'm also hoping to pick up book 2 in the Clown in a Cornfield series. This is a YA slasher series. I read book 1 last Halloween and I'm really excited to read book number 2. This is definitely the longest book I have on this TBR, but I flew through Clown in a Cornfield in a day, like on actual Halloween. So I don't think reading this one will be a problem. And then I don't know if I'll actually get to this one, but it's tentatively here. I have The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this book or if I'm even gonna like this author, but I have it in case I feel the urge to pick it up. I'm primarily interested in this one because there's like annotations. So we have somebody telling the story, and then there's these annotations in red throughout the book, and I think that is fun. So we'll see if I get to this. Like I said, it's not a super high priority, but it's there if I want to do it. So yeah, that's a TBR. And like I said, super excited. For now, I have a little bit before I need to go pick my youngest up from school, but I thought it would be fun to go to HomeGoods and check out their Halloween blanket situation because I kind of want a new blanket. I also need to pick up some stuff for dinner. I thought tonight would be a good soup and grilled cheese kind of night, which is one of my favorite dinners. Before I head out though, I am gonna take a Magic Mind shot before I go. Magic Mind is a mental performance elixir, and I've been taking it for a number of weeks now, and I am really liking the mental clarity I get when I take this. I've had a lot of fuzzy brain days recently where I just feel like there is like plastic wrap over my brain, and it makes it so hard to just function, and this has really helped clear the cobwebs, so to speak. They so kindly sponsored one of my videos a couple of weeks ago, and they offered to also sponsor this video after sending me some product to see if I was interested. If you are interested in also trying out Magic Mind, you can check the link in my description box down below, and you can go to www.magicmind.com/emreads, and you can use the code emreads20 to save up to 48% off your subscription. Let's go look at Halloween stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am going to be starting with Graveyard Shift. This is the shortest out of all of them. I think in paperback copy, it is barely over 100 pages, and I have the audiobook thanks to Libro FM's ALC program. So we are going to be starting with that one. Now let's go get some Halloween stuff. Alright friends, book 1 is done. I finished Graveyard Shift on my run, and this is my first ML Rio. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not yet, but I'm underwhelmed to say the least. This is, gosh, I think it was 3 hours on audio, which I think is like maybe just barely over 100 pages if you're going to read a physical copy. And this follows 5 different people who unintentionally meet in the graveyard next to this college every night for their smoke breaks. And that's really the only thing that connects them together. And one night they go to meet, and there is a grave where there wasn't a grave before, like a empty grave. And it's a graveyard that is no longer being actively used. Like people, fresh bodies or freshly dead people are no longer being buried in this graveyard. So it's unusual. And they set about trying to investigate why this grave is there. And it alternates perspectives, so you get to know each of the 5. I feel like 5 characters, each getting a POV in such a short novella, is too many characters. And I thought this was horror, but after actually reading it, I don't know what this is. It doesn't even feel like mystery either. I guess maybe just like litfic, dark academia litfic. I don't know. I'm going to be giving it a 2.75, which I'm not thrilled about. The narrators were all good. Like, I thought the audiobook production was well done. I just felt like it was so short. I didn't really get to know the characters. I don't have a sense of what the themes, other than, like, obviously ML Rio is exploring insomnia in this one because the book takes place between the hours of midnight and 10 a.m. But I don't know. I don't think it was for me. I don't think I'm the target audience for this book, which that's fine. It does make me not want to try If We Were Villains, because I was gonna read this, and then my thought process was that if I really liked this, then I would try If We Were Villains, because I've heard really great reviews about If We Were Villains. But I don't know. The writing style was just fine. It was very straightforward. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. I also wanted it to be spookier because there is like a mushroom thing going on, and that could have gotten so spooky, and it really just didn't. It just didn't get as spooky as I wanted it to. The dark academia vibes could have been stronger. I feel like the only thing that makes it dark academia is it takes place around a college campus, but it didn't really have that like aesthetic that dark academia is supposed to have, since that's all dark academia is an aesthetic. And I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite. So that's so sad. I hate starting on a book that I didn't like very much. But day 1 down, book 1 down. I'm not sure. No, that's a lie. I'm going to read Guillotine next because this is due back at the library very, very soon, like within 3 days. So this will be tomorrow's book. I'm very excited for this one. I have heard not great things, but Jan gave it 5 stars, and I really loved Bloom, and I'm hoping to really love this as well. I've heard this is more revenge horror and gets pretty, like the kills get pretty violent and bloody and gruesome. So I'm hoping that the slasher type elements make this a book that I'm going to love. So I have to go shower and do something so that my brain turns back on, because I think I ran some brain cells out of my ears with that, because that was my first 20-minute run without stopping, because I'm doing a Couch to 5K training program, and I've been doing it for a really long time because I've been going super slow, but I did a 20-minute run without stopping, which was really hard, but I did it. I just now feel exceptionally stupid. So I'm gonna go get everything online again, so I feel less stupid, and then I will come back and talk to y'all tomorrow. I had lunch, and I am ready to sit down and do, oh my gosh, it just got so bright. What is going on in here? I'm ready to sit down and do some reading if I cannot look like I am coming out of the gates of heaven. What is going on here? There you go. Okay, I think that's better. I did read 76 pages of Guillotine this morning. I am liking it a lot so far. I really like Delilah S. Dawson's writing. I think she does such a good job of building atmosphere and building dread. And look, this is even present tense narration, and I'm still liking it, which usually present tense is a little hard for me. But I just think she does such a good job at leaving red flags for the reader so that you are starting to freak out a little bit, even if the main character has not yet realized that it is time to start freaking out. I felt like that in Bloom. I feel like she builds tension so incredibly well. But this is about Des, who is a college student and grew up really poor and is still really poor and really wants a big break into fashion, and it's just not happening for her. And so she decides to date this really spoiled, entitled rich man because his mom is the head of a fashion line. And she's hoping that if she dates this asshat, that she can get an introduction to his mom. And so she goes on a family vacation with this guy to his family's like island estate. But there are like very strict rules for coming onto this island. Like she has to sign an NDA. There's all these rules for what she can wear, for how she could behave. Everyone in his family behaves really strangely. And I've heard this is a mix of Glass Onion and Saw. And I haven't seen Saw, so I don't know what that reference, like what that comparison is to, but so far, like I totally get the Glass Onion vibe, which going to this really wealthy person's private island and like with insane rules for everybody to follow, like that what I get. So again, she's so good at building tension, and the red flags are flying. I also find it interesting that in both this and Bloom, Delilah S. Dawson has main characters who have like their birth name and then have their preferred name. And the red flag, one of the main red flags for both of these books, is people who refuse to call them by their preferred name. Like, that's just, you just don't do that. Just don't do that. Just call people what they want to be called. That's how you know who the baddies are in her books, is because they disregard the main character's wishes. So I'm going to keep reading. I'm hoping to finish this. I'm going to give myself 11:41. I'm going to give myself maybe an hour and a half, maybe just an hour to keep reading. And then I do want to go to the gym before I have to get my kids from school. But I also have a little bit of a book haul. You didn't know, or if I haven't talked about it enough, it could be either or. I am social media manager for an indie bookstore. And so I was at the bookstore this morning getting content for the week, and I snagged a couple of ARCs. The first one I grabbed was, there was an ARC of The Night Guest still roaming around, which I didn't have a physical copy of this. I just had the audiobook, but I really want to read the physical copy because there's just so much negative space in this book that I don't know. Anytime there's a lot of negative space like that, I always want to read it physically rather than exclusively on audio. So I grabbed this. There's also an ARC for a book that comes out in January. This is The Legend of Menaka. This is by Kritika H. Rao, who wrote, I can't remember what the book is called, Their Surviving Sky, which I read a couple years ago and I liked. And I haven't read the second book in that series, which is called The Unrelenting Earth. Yes, I haven't read that one yet, but I need to. But this is like her new book that comes out. It's beginning of a duology, and it is fantasy inspired by one of the most famous romances in Hindu mythology. So I really liked her writing in, can I remember what that book is called? The Surviving Sky. There were some things that I didn't like. Overall, I had a really positive experience with that book. There were a few negatives for me in my reading experience, but for a debut, like, I thought it was really well done, and I was really, I'm really interested to read more of her work, and I'm also interested to see like what other things she has in her head, because I thought the idea of The Surviving Sky and the creativity from the world for the world building was really impressive. So I grabbed this because I just think this could be good. So I'm hoping to read this sooner rather than later. I actually have like a little hoard of ARCs that I think I might have to build a reading vlog around. Otherwise, who knows when I'll get to them, and I want to read them while I'm still excited about them. And then I also got Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. I didn't realize this is being traditionally published at the end of October. Actually, I think by the time this video goes up, this will have just come out. So I've had I've had M.L. Wong on my radar for a long time, but her books as an indie published author have been really hard to find if you're not willing to go the Amazon route, which I try really hard to not go the Amazon route, but it's hard because there's so many indie authors on there, and Amazon definitely makes it the easiest to publish on there. So like, I get why there's so many indie authors on there. It's just like, as a consumer, I don't like to use Amazon if at all possible. I haven't dived into her work yet, but I've been really curious to try her books, and so I'm pretty excited this one's getting indie published and that I get a chance to read it. And then we have a book that I paid money for. I ordered a book off of Pango because my library didn't have it, and you know, I've been working real hard this month, and apparently I'm rewarding myself by buying a lot of books, because I also bought something from bookshop.org, and I'm waiting for that to arrive today. So we might be back here later with another little book haul, but I was very excited about this. This is YA horror, and I am actually a Pango ambassador now. So if you haven't used Pango yet and you want to check it out, you can use my code MJ and it will get you $5 off your first purchase on Pango. So I'll link that down below if you want to go check it out. Anyways, I got Come Out, Come Out by Natalie C. Parker. Look at that cover. It was totally a cover buy. I've also read Natalie C. Parker before. Oh, this is cute. Have liked her writing, and this is sapphic horror. I want to say it's a haunted house based off the cover, but what does it actually say? It's never been safe for Fern, Jack, or Mallory to come out to their families. They've been friends since they're kids, and they've also like gone into this old abandoned house in the woods whenever they need safety. But one night when the girls sought refuge, Mallory never made it back home. Fern and Jack did, but neither survivor remembered what happened. 5 years later, Fern and Jack are seniors on the verge of graduating, seemingly happy in their straight, cisgendered lives, until a spirit who looks like Mallory begins to appear, seeking revenge for her death and the part Fern and Jack played in it. Oh, it's revenge horror. That's great. As they're haunted, something begins to shift inside them. They remember who they are, who they want to love, and the truth about the vicious secrets hiding in their woods. This delightfully dark and pointed novel calls out the systems that erase gay, queer, and trans identity, giving space to embrace queerness and to unleash the power of friendship and found family against the real monsters in the world. I'm so excited. I got a sticker. That was sweet. Chaotic little queer. What do I think that is? A kangaroo? Focus. Yeah, it's a baby kangaroo. Anyways, that was sweet. I'm so excited. Hopefully I can read this soon. Probably not in this vlog. It's probably too late to add it in, but I think this will be a good time. Anyways, it's your little book haul. I'm just adding it to the stack in front of next to my bed that's getting increasingly taller and taller and taller. And I'm now gonna go try and finish Guillotine. All right, it feels like it's been a whole day later. It hasn't. It has been several hours. I did, in fact, finish Guillotine before I had to go pick up my youngest from school. And look, I don't watch horror movies because I am very sensitive to visuals of violence. Reading doesn't bother me as much because I'm not a super visual reader. I'm not always able to picture things in my mind like a movie. Sometimes I can, but it's not a guarantee. The main character makes a reference to the violence happening in this book, comparing it to A Clockwork Orange, which is the movie that taught me that I cannot take in gratuitous scenes of violence. That's where my line is. Now, I didn't find this upsetting. I wasn't able to visualize a lot of what happens, but they're like, when you hear that this is revenge horror, and it is revenge horror, and the kills are creative and merciless and not grotesque. What was the word that I wanted? I just had it in my head. Spectacular. And I mean spectacular as in a spectacle. So take that into account. I have no idea what I'm reading this. Can you tell? Again, I love Delilah S. Dawson's writing so much. I love how she establishes atmosphere. I love how she builds suspense and tension. It's great. That all like stands because I still felt that way in this book. Like even though I was horrified, I could not tear myself away from the pages of this book. I did not love the arc of this the same way I loved Bloom, and I didn't love the ending of this. Not that I loved the ending in Bloom because woof. But the ending of Bloom made an impression. Like whether you love it or you hate it, it leaves an impression. And this ending felt a little bit more, I don't know. I really wanted her to go there and I thought she was going to. And then at the last minute, she pulled back. I felt, and I wish she had just really gone for it. But like, if you like revenge horror, if you are looking for an eat the rich type of vibe, like this, I hesitate to say good time, but it could be a time. It could be a time. I will probably settle on a rating in the 4-star range, I think, because like Bloom is a 5-star. So obviously it cannot be a 5-star because Bloom is a 5-star. And I don't think it's as much for me as Bloom was, but it's definitely in the 4-star range. Probably like a 4.25. I don't think it's quite a 4.5 either. A 4.25 says right. Now, sounds right now that I've said that. So I think that's going to be my rating for this. I'm questioning if I'm going to start reading, if I need to keep reading Delilah S. Dawson's horror. I know she has a longer horror novel coming out soon. And I don't know. I love her writing, but man, she's got a twisted mind, y'all. Like in the best possible way, but woof. Book 2 is done, which is great. I love that for me. I think the next up is going to be The Night Guest. Tomorrow is late start for my kids, so they don't have to go to school until 9. So generally what we do on late start days is we turn off the alarm clocks. They get to sleep basically until like 7:30, 7:45, or until they wake up on their own, depending on which comes first. I try to still wake up at 5 on late start mornings so I can get like extra reading time, because then I can read from 5 or 5:30 until 7 or 7:30, so I get a solid 2 hours hopefully of reading in. So I am planning on starting The Night Guest tomorrow morning and hopefully finish this before anybody wakes up for the day. Wouldn't that be a time? I'm definitely not reading it tonight. Absolutely not. Refuse. So it just sounds like it's gonna freak me out if I try to read it at night. Yeah, the review on the back from S.A. Barnes says there's nothing more frightening than not being able to trust yourself. All right, well, I look forward to this tomorrow, and I'll talk to y'all then. Morning. It's about 5 minutes till 7. I finished The Night Guest. It's a very quick read. This is by Hildur Knutsdotter. I think it's how you say her last name. It started off super creepy as Udin, our main character. She is waking up really tired. Her body's really sore, and as somebody who woke up at 5:10 this morning and was also very tired, and my body is also really sore from the gym yesterday, it's a little unsettling to read at first. It starts off so creepy because she's just not sleeping, and she's waking up with all these aches and pains, and when she does things to help her stay in her bed, like taking sleeping pills or putting a lock on her door or something, she wakes up in the morning and there's consequences for her actions. So that was really creepy, but I feel like as it went further along, it got less creepy. And I really don't know how I felt about the ending. I would have liked more. I don't necessarily need everything wrapped up in a little bow, but I need like more explanation. I feel like it just ended. And I wanted there to be, I don't know. I wanted there to be a little bit more of a resolution to it. But I really liked the writing. Mary Robinette Cole did the translation, and I feel like the translation is really good, though. Of course, like, what do I know? But I feel like the translation was good. I like the formatting. I like how fast it was. I like how, for the most part, the suspense was built up. I just, like I said, I feel like it kind of fizzled at the end there, which is unfortunate. So it probably will be maybe like a 3.5. And I think I might start the second Clown in a Cornfield book today as well, and read that today and maybe tomorrow, depending on how long it takes me. I do have work this morning, and then I have another class in the afternoon, but I'm not going to exercise today because my body hurts so much. If I do anything, it'll be stretching, which I can do while listening to an audiobook. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. I'm bummed this wasn't a 5-star. I was so excited for this book. I really thought I was going to absolutely love it. I think what I am realizing is maybe psychological horror isn't my favorite, and I don't find it as creepy as I should. Also, there is a content warning for this book for animal death, so just watch out for that. if that is a trigger for you. And yeah, I don't think psychological horror is my favorite type. I definitely think I'm more of like a slasher reader, and maybe haunted houses. I have only read, I think, one haunted house book, so I'm interested. I need to read more haunted house stories to see if that one works for me, but I don't think psychological horror does it for me. Anyways, glad I read it. Sad I didn't love it more. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go start climbing the cornfield because I have about 30 minutes before I need to start waking the kids up, so I can at least get started in that one before I need to get started with the day. Ever not be tired? That's my question. Probably not. I am 45% of the way through Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives, and the slashers have started slashing. If you have not experienced the joy and the chaos and the menace that is The First Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar, this takes place in a very small town in the Midwest. And our main character is Quinn, and she and her dad have just moved to this town from Pennsylvania. And so she is a city girl adjusting to rural small town life. And this town is very homophobic and likes to support certain former presidents, and has this really creepy, like 1930s art style clown named Friendo as their like unofficial town mascot. And then one night on Halloween, Friendo comes to life and starts unaliving the teens. And Quinn and her friends work to stop it. Like, if you like My Heart is a Chainsaw, or like that vibe, that style of slasher, and you want like a YA version of it, God, I don't even know YA version of it. If you want a writing style that's a little bit easier to digest than Stephen Graham Jones can be, sometimes I would highly recommend these books. They're so fun. This one is picking up a year later when Quinn has left to go to college. And God, everybody has so much trauma. So much trauma. As you should if you survive a slasher. Like, really. I don't know that I want to read the book where characters have survived a slasher and no one has trauma. That would be unhinged. It's very quick, easy read, easy listen. I really like the audiobook narrator. I don't know who it is. Yeah, she does a great job. And this is my style of horror. These are the horror books that I really like. Though we did just have like the first like super descriptive kill on page, and no thanks. It's so gross. So it's so weird. It's like I really love slashers and book slashers, but I'm so grossed out the whole time. Like, I'm just cringing away with like one eye open so I can still see what's happening, but like I'm also super grossed out. So I don't know why I love these. My dad asked me why I like horror books so much a while ago, and I was like, I don't know. Clearly I'm responding to something, but I don't know. I think I just love that like horror demands a visceral response, and I'm into whatever my visceral response is. All right, I have to go get my youngest from school. I don't think I'm going to read any more of it tonight. Even though it's only 2:30, I do have to go and teach another class. So, and then my oldest has gymnastics this evening. So like by the time I get home and have designated reading time again, it's going to be like 7:30. And I have a no slashers before bed rule. I also did not have good dreams last night. I had a nightmare last night, and I haven't had a nightmare in a really long time. And I'm definitely blaming the 3 horror books I've read this week. So no horror before bed is the rule. All right. But I will come back and talk to y'all later or tomorrow when hopefully I will finish this book and then start Haunt Sweet Home. And I love how I'm just rolling along on this little reading vlog. It's making me so happy. Hello friends, it's so dark in here. Would you believe that it is almost 9:30? It looks like it's like 6 p.m. It's so dark and overcast today, which would be great if I got to spend the whole day at home reading. Alas, I do not. I also did not get very much sleep last night. We had a stressful interaction with a child's teacher, and so I'm currently trying to resolve that situation. So wish me luck. I hate it. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I hate confrontation so much, but we're here to talk about books. So let's just get into it. I did finish Clown in a Cornfield 2 Friendo Lives yesterday afternoon. I gave this 4.5 stars, which is also what I gave the first book. I thought this one was really fun, super fast paced, had some twists that I wasn't totally anticipating. We're also following a different character in this one. Like, we're still following Quinn and Rust and Cole, which are our main characters from book 1, but another character, Jerry, is introduced in the beginning of this one, who was present in the massacre in the first book but escaped. And the adults in this book are infuriating. Like, in this series, the adults, absolutely infuriating. It's so hard to read those scenes sometimes because you just want to shake them. But I find this series really fun and I like it a lot. And I loved the ending because just what it set up for book 3. Like, I'm so excited to read book 3. Book 3 could be 5 stars because I'm so excited about what Adam Caesar introduced in the epilogue. Like, oh, I can't wait. That would be so fun. So yeah, this is a great time. Totally into it. I highly recommend it if you are a slasher fan, because even though it is YA, like, it's shelved in YA, but I think it could stand with an adult slasher just fine. And then this morning I started Haunt Sweet Home by Sarah Pinsker, and I think 55% of the way through is what Storygraph said. I'm on chapter 5, page 89. And this is, oh gosh, what's her name? Mara. Okay. This is about Mara, who is a little bit lost. She's not quite sure what she wants to do with her life, what she wants her job to be. She's struggling to go back and finish school after taking a lot of time off. Her family kind of writes her off as a slacker, basically. And her cousin, Jeremy, is the host for Haunt Sweet Home, which is a reality TV show that kind of mixes like a renovation show with ghost hunting. Jeremy offers Mara a job as a PA on Haunt Sweet Home. And this is told in alternating formats. We have transcripts from an episode, we have transcripts from a different episode, not the episode that they're currently working on. And then it alternates with chapters from Mara's perspective working on this show and going about her job and what it's like to be a PA, which is, you know, like the lowest rung on a filming ladder. It's the gopher for pretty much everybody on crew and on the set. But it's also like well established on Haunt Sweet Home that they fake the hauntings, but use special effects and things like that to make it uncertain for the people whose houses they are renovating if the house is actually haunted or if it's all in their head. I think a ghost character just got introduced. I mean, Mara doesn't know she's a ghost, but I think she's a ghost, so we'll see if I'm correct. And I will be very surprised, though, if she's not a ghost, because it feels very heavy-handed, I will say. I don't have a lot of thoughts right now. I have the audiobook because it was an option for Macmillan's audiobook influencer list that I'm on. So I have the audiobook from them, so I would listen to that while I was at the gym this morning, and I like the audiobook. I think I really like the person that's narrating Mara, and then it's full cast for the transcript sections, which I really like that. I don't know what this could be rated. Like, I'll just have to see. So I guess for now it's just fine. I'm not hugely invested, but it's pleasant to listen to. I do have to go teach shortly, and then I'm going to go to the grocery store, so I'll probably listen to a little bit more while I'm at the grocery store, and I'm hoping to finish it today because I think the audiobook is only 3 hours, and I think I have maybe an hour left, so easy peasy. And then this vlog will be over because it's Friday, and I'm on my last book that I 100% wanted to read. The Pallbearers Club was going to kind of be a bonus one if I could get it, if I had extra time, but Friday is the end point because I have to start Wheel of Doom in a couple days, which I'm really excited about because there's some great books on the TBR for October. Anyways, now I'm just rambling, so I'm going to go and I'll update probably when I finish because it's so stinking short. All right, I have not finished the book. I'm back. Hi, I'm back from work. I know it's the same angle. I'm too lazy to move my camera, but it's been a bit. I have not finished the book because I want to say something before I finish it. Also, do you remember earlier in this video I said I had another book package that I was waiting for? Well, UPS has said it's being delivered today for like 3 days now, but they finally followed through. So I can show you what I got. I'm really excited. This is probably gonna be in a vlog in November. Let's do this now because I'm really excited. And I think, okay, if you followed me since last December, you will probably be oh so sick of me talking about Letters to Half Moon Street, which I read last year during Clear Your Shit and was obsessed with. Like, could not think about anything else for weeks after finishing it. I loved it so much. I've gone on to read 3 books in the Mend and Metal series, which Half Moon Street is book 1. And I haven't loved the other ones as much as I loved Letters to Half Moon Street. Letters to Half Moon Street just hit perfectly. But I have one more book in that series, that initial like quartet to read, which I should get on that. And then Sarah Wallace, the author of the series, released another book in the series about a character who is featured in all the books, but obviously doesn't have her own book yet. And she's a big part of Letters to Half Moon Street, and I absolutely love her. Finally. And so last week when bookshop.org was having their anti-Amazon Prime sale, oh, got dinged up a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Who shipped this? Bookshop. You could have put that in a little bit nicer. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, anyways, it's just another book by Sarah Wallace. Anyways, it's The Spellmaster of Tutting on Cress. And this is Gary's book, and Gary is the sister of one of the main characters in Letters to Half Moon Street. So this is really chunky though, like way chunkier than the other ones. These are all queer. Technically, I think they're fantasy romances, but they are historical romances in an England that is very much modeled on historical England, like Victorian. Is it Victorian or is it, what time period are we in? Oh, I love that. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, does this one have letters in it? Oh, I hope it has letters in it. I will sucker for a letter. Maybe not letters. 1817. What is that, friends? Is that Regency? Anyways, so it's a historical England where magic exists and queer people exist, and being queer is not a big deal. And it's so lovely because it takes my favorite things about fantasy, which is magic and more diversity in terms of gender and sexual identity, and historical romance, which has always been my one true love. It smashes them together And I love it. So I don't love how extraordinarily chunky this book is. It's over 500 pages. This better be so good. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to this into November. The only reason I wouldn't read it for the vlog I have planned is I might reread Letters to Half Moon Street just to be truly obnoxious about it. God, I want to start it now. Okay. All right, let's talk about what we're actually here. Haunt Sweet Home. Here's where we're at post grocery store. I'm on page 138 out of 163. There is only one way I want this book to end. And if it ends the way I want it to end, it'll be a 4-star. If Sarah Pinsker doesn't do what I think she should do, it's a 3-star. I'm just laying that out there now. Okay. I'm gonna go finish this. I'll report back shortly. Okay, let's do a scene change. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn on more lights, aren't I? You're gonna balance on my Stanley. Sorry, not sorry. Do I need more light? Yeah, I do. One more. Okay, that works. That's fine. All right, it's time. I toughed it out as long as I could. It's after 1. And if I'm gonna make it through the rest of this day, including going back for one more class, I need help. I can't do it on my own. This is really disappointing. I guess it's a 3. It's fine, but it wasn't. God, I have read the Sarah Pinsker short story that I have read that I can't remember the name of. I think it's called Lost Places. No, wait. Lost Places is the short story collection. Which one is the one that she won the Nebula for? Was it for Lost Places? Anyways, she has a short story that is creepy as fuck. And I was really hoping that this would also get creepy as fuck, and it didn't. It's not, I guess technically it's a haunted house story, but it wasn't creepy. It wasn't scary. It wasn't disturbing. It wasn't gross. It was just fun. It was very literary fiction. And I really wanted the ending to be shocking. And well, not shocking, but like there's a thing I wanted to happen, and I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to spoil anything in case you still want to go and read this book for yourself. But I wanted something very specific to happen at the end of that book, and I'm so disappointed that it didn't, because it just made it so boring. It's fine. So, unfortunately, this is the note that we're ending this vlog on. And, God, I feel like for how much excitement I had going into this week and into this video, because I've been looking forward to this since September when I started planning out my content for October. And I've had all of these horror books on my radar for a bit, and I was so excited, and I feel like I had an unreasonable amount of, what are they called? Of 3-star books in this video, and that is unacceptable. My phone is in the other room, and I could go get it, but I am currently under a blanket, and I don't want to get out from under it. So I'm going to see if I remember my password for Storygraph and sign in on the iPad. Okay, so we started with Graveyard Shift, which I gave 2.75. Guillotine was a 4.25, so I did enjoy that. It wasn't my favorite, but it was a good time. Night Guest was a 3.25. Thank goodness for Clown in a Cornfield. That 4.5 really saved it. And then this will probably be a 3. Another 2.75. It didn't do anything wrong. It didn't do anything, like, I don't know. It was just fine. It was just meh. Which I think I gave Graveyard Shift 2.75 as well because it was meh. So I guess Haunt Sweet Home is also a 2.75. Maybe a 3, because I really enjoyed the script elements in Haunt Sweet Home. I thought that was really, that was interesting. That always kind of pulled my attention back. So yeah, so we're gonna end this vlog here. So sorry to end it on such a bummer note. Next time I'm just gonna read slashers and it'll be a great time and it'll be so much fun. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. If you're interested in trying Magic Mind, you can go to magicmind.com/emreads and you can use the code emreads20 to save up to 48% off your subscription of Magic Mind. If you have made it to the end of this video and you don't have anything else you want to say, but you'd like to leave a comment, let's do clan emoji. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye!